Hello everyone and welcome back to Coaster Extra. Now you may remember that a little while ago I uploaded a video of a review of The Swarm at Thorpe Park, and I mentioned in it that this was my favourite ride. Now this has changed and my favourite ride is now Icon. So this is going to be a review of that ride, starting with the layout. So when you roll out of the station, you roll onto this big straight piece of track where it will launch you, but it holds you there for a few seconds just to get that anticipation running. Then it begins to launch you, and this is not a launch focused around acceleration. This is more about the gradual build-up, like most LSM launches are. And yeah, it gradually builds you up to the speed you need to reach the next element. So you go through a tunnel filled with mist, which completely blinds you for a couple seconds, which is really cool. And then before you know it, you are going up this big top hat element. It's just over 85 feet high. And at the top, if you are in the front row, as you crest the hill, you will get some airtime, whereas if you are in the back, you will get absolutely whipped over this top hat, and it is actually an incredible sensation. You get absolutely thrown over and you are out of your seat for so long. This is such a fun element, and it's one of my favourite on the ride. Another part is that you're going through the big one's supports, so it actually gives you quite a good head chopper. As you go over this top hat and you begin to go down the drop, it feels like you're going to smash your head on the supports of the big one, but you dive down just in time, avoiding it, and it's really, really cool. After this, you go into a steep helix, which is pretty intense actually. It's very good. It carries a lot of the speed through from that drop after the top hat, and you just go around this helix, which is very forceful, I will say. Then you go through a few more turns, and this gives you some great interaction with rides such as the Big Dipper and Steeplechase, and rides like those. Honestly, it's really, really cool. Again, so many head choppers on this ride just because this Blackpool Pleasure Beach is quite a compact park, so all the rides are squished in together, so on every ride there's great interaction, especially Icon going through all these supports. It's amazing. Yeah, you go through a few more turns and then you go up a little hill into this Heartline roll, and damn, this thing gives you so much hang time. Like honestly, it's incredible. You feel like you are just hanging out of your seat forever. It is so much fun. I love this element, and after it, it takes you straight into a little twisted airtime hill, and this gives you a tiny pot of ejector airtime. But then, don't be deceived, that isn't all. There's another little hill, and this one throws you up out of your seat, especially if you're in the back row. Then you crest through this mist tunnel, again, so then you are running parallel to the track that you went down, the launch track from the beginning of the ride. You're now running parallel to it. And you go through this mist tunnel, not the same one as the one you went through earlier. It's like separated, but they're right next to each other. And then this again completely blinds you for a little bit, and before you know it, you are launching down this bit of track, and this acceleration feels a little bit quicker, but I think that's probably just because you're going quite a fast speed as you go onto this launch, and the launch takes you up to 52 miles per hour, which isn't exactly a high speed, but it does feel very fast. And especially for this ride, it's just made for that speed. It works. It doesn't need to be much quicker, I think. I think it's good the way it is. And after this, you go into a Junior Immelman, which, if you don't know, it's like an Immelman, but it only goes 90 degrees. So instead of going 180 degrees as a full inversion, it only goes about 90 degrees-ish. It doesn't complete the Immelman. It goes up and kind of banks off instead of going upside down and then flipping out. So this is really cool. You do get some hang time. It's not quite the same as on that Heartline roll. It's more of a sort of tilted hang time, but it's still really good fun. Then you get whipped over if you're in the back row, and if you're in the front row, you just begin to pick up speed as you go down the drop from that Junior Immelman. Really, really cool. And then you go into this kind of wave turn element. It's pretty fun and pretty intense. Then you go into this sort of big sweeping bank turn, and it's actually pretty intense again, just because you've got so much speed from this launch and it's carrying through. Then you go into another amazing element of this ride, a big pop of airtime, and it's this sort of quite big hill and it's quite sweeping, and you just fly over it and it gives you so much ejector wherever you sit in the train. Then you go into a helix and then over this bank turn over the entrance of the ride, which is really cool. You can see all these people queuing and just flooding into the ride, and it's actually quite a cool element, and there you can see it's a good sort of like teaser for the ride. And then you go into a few little more turns. There's this little nice outer bank sort of turn, kind of. It's not like too steep or anything, but it's interesting. It's a weird sensation. It's not quite like ejector airtime, but it's just strange. It's good fun. Yeah, then there's a few more turns and little airtime pops before you sweep into that final brake run. Then you go just around a turn and that takes you back into the station. Now this is just a really long and really fun layout. Honestly, it's just so amazing. There's so many pops of airtime, hang time, and just great intensity throughout the layout. People kind of look at it on videos and are like saying, it's not the most intense from the videos, but I agree, it doesn't look the most intense. However, when you ride it, it certainly is. Those bank turns give you some great G-force, and the airtime is just great. It's just a great mixture of forces and the perfect length of ride. Nice and long, but not too long, And another thing I want to mention about this ride is that it has only got a over-the-shoulder lap bar, which obviously is completely safe, but it makes you feel so free, especially on those airtime and hang time moments. It makes you feel so free as you go throughout the layout of the ride, and it's just such a great feature. It wouldn't be anywhere near as good if it had over-the-shoulder restraints. It would just be a bit more uncomfortable. But yeah, it's a really smooth ride as well, of course, because it's quite new. It opened in 2018. And is manufactured by Mack Rides, who are quite well known for making nice and smooth rides. And yeah, so now a little bit about the theming. Now this ride isn't really that well themed, but I don't think it needs to be. The sort of theme it's going for is like a Japanese sort of style, and there's not too much theming or anything, but the theming it has is more of sort of like a style, it's all very modern and majestic looking and clean. It looks really, really nice, and I think that this is honestly a really nice sort of style that they've gone for, and I think it just stands out because the rest of the rides in the park have quite a lot of heritage to them. They look quite old, whereas this one looks very clean and new. And all of this combined, the layout and the sort of style and the trains and just the fast operations in general, just leads this to be my favourite ride. It has taken the place of the Swarm, that still stays at second. However, Icon is my new number one coaster, and that is going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy this review, then please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing so you never miss another one. Also, please feel free to join my Discord server if you haven't already. It's the first link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and goodbye.